Hey, everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. We are proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network. And today I am joined by my sisters, Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
Sabrina Wood.
Whoop, whoop.
Fran T.
What's happening?
And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Tamia Harper. Yeah, you know, there's a first time for everything. So we have a really cool show for you guys. We got an opportunity to sit down with none other than Yetide Badaki. And she's an actress that you all know from American Gods. She played Bilquis, and she's on Star Trek Strange New Worlds in season 2, episode 2. What is it, Sabrina?
It is called Astra Per Aspera.
Thank you, smart
Spoilers on this one, episode 2, season 2.
Yeah, definitely we got spoilers. We were blessed to have a few minutes to sit down and talk with her. Y'all, wasn't she cool?
She was. Wow. She was. She was just like us, a nice big geek. That's right. Full geek. Loved it.
Full on geek here.
Yes.
Like, we had a blast with her. And I mean, she's gorgeous and she's so smart, and she's so she was very generous with her time, and we really hope you guys enjoy the conversation. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited to be here today with Miss Yetide Badaki. I knew I was going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. I tried to say it like in your rhythm.
Right.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Okay. Thank you. You're so gracious and kind. Y'all, we were just sitting here really hardcore geeking out with each other. We're sitting here. I mean, you are a blurred girl just like us, and it's so lovely to see somebody on screen who is portraying these roles, who really has an affinity for these types of work, this genre of work. And I remember seeing on an interview of yours, you were talking about your love of fantasy and science fiction starting really early and really young, as did mine. I found myself really looking for years. Didn't realize that I was looking for me in there, in the works that I was reading and looking for it, until I found Octavia Butler and my world changed, when I was like probably about 17 or so. And I was wondering what your experience might have been like as a young Black girl into fantasy and science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, yeah, you do know that this is a deep, abiding love for me, even growing up in Nigeria and watching Star Trek Next Generation. I immediately was pulled into that world. But it was from as early as I can remember. I've loved science fiction and fantasy. Even from hearing the stories my parents would tell about the gods, the ancient gods. And then from there, after seeing about the Orishas, then learning about the Norse gods, the Greek gods, all of that. So these worlds already had so much interest to me. And then works that speak about, the times that we've lived or the past, and then works that speak about our possible futures. There's just something I think so powerful there. So many things that we can explore and possibly learn from. So as far back as I can remember is the short answer to your question. Everything. You said everything from Ray Bradbury to Tolkien to, and like you said, Octavia Butler changed so much on the literary side.
Yeah.
Being able to see myself in that space. But if we're talking about Star Trek, I mean, I remember seeing Guinan. And which, if you notice, some Guinan goes into Neera.
Oh, yeah.
I use some of her elements. You don't know what's happening behind it. That it's
the facial expression.
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah.
Very Guinan. Very Guinan. And of course, we all think of Uhura. And we
Yes.
also got Michelle Nichols and, of course, now Celia, who's doing an incredible job taking that further. But those were spaces where we said, yeah, we like this too. Also, let people exist in the future.
That's right. That's right.
As we see with LaForge and all of that. So, yeah, it's been a long, abiding love. And I keep on saying short answer that's long to the question. But as far back as I can remember, I've loved this genre. Yeah,
it's so. I think it's really apparent. I mean, you're a phenomenal actress, but I think there's a deeper level of that happens that you experience, that we as viewers experience when we know the people who are taking on the roles actually have respect for the genre and respect for this style of storytelling. And it really comes through. And I think one of the most potent examples of that, for me personally, I've seen a lot of your work, but one of the most riveting pieces of work that you did for me was Bill Quist, that I got to see on American Gods. I mean, the power inherent. I mean, you were just, it was visceral. There was no separation of screen and viewer. It's like I was with you in every single moment of that performance. And can you talk a little bit about the Bill Quist and her power and what she might have done to you or what you might have learned from her?
Oh, how long do we have? I mean, and we speak about writers that have enjoyed for so long, and I think it's always important, and especially more so now, that the writers are rightfully so asking for the recognition that should be theirs. But Neil Gaiman was another one from very early on. That I'd very much enjoyed. And I had read his works for so long. And even going into audition, there was just that moment. And the thing about Bill Quist, she caught my heart immediately. I loved her. I love her. I can't even put that in the past. I love her. There was something that's, you say, visceral. And I could feel that there was such a deep emotional life that she doesn't even need to say anything. You feel it. You're there with it. That experience, yes, she changed me. Absolutely. I mean, okay, on one part in work where I also then get offers to do some more incredible geek stuff like Star Trek.
Yeah, right.
She changed my life in that way, but on so many levels, internally, emotionally, intellectually. So my relationship with her is gratitude. Continued gratitude, because it has been one of the most life-changing experiences thus far.
Yeah, she was amazing, and a really affirming and empowering role for me to witness personally, because I mean, especially as a discussion of women's sexuality and being open about our sexuality and taking power from our sexuality, which is something as a young woman, I really went through a lot of a wide journey, and it's still ongoing. It changes as you get older, and people, you're not supposed to be a sexual creature and, after a certain age, and it's like, wait a minute, what is, I know, right? So Bill Quist is everything to me. She is.
Really? Okay. Pack up my stuff and go on about my business. You good, Fran. You good. Girl, I am.
Also the elements too that I love that, Neera speaks to, when she's speaking to Lon.
Yes.
About how people make you feel shame.
Yes.
For being
For being you. Yeah.
Exactly.
For being you.
Just for being you. And that was one of the things that, that's like kind of tie is one of the things that Bill Quist imparted to me was to take pride in who I am. In all of who I am. And I think that carries through with Neera as well, that she spent a long time finding that love. And so she continues on with fighting for it.
Yeah.
As many people as she can.
Yeah, go ahead, Yvette, because I know that this episode is so dear to you.
So I loved this episode. Well, I saw it Sunday in New York City at the advanced screening. And I want you to know that there was applause, standing ovations, talk back, call back. Black folks were talking back to the screen. All of that was happening, you know, and it was insane when it was over. People were just like, I cannot believe what I just saw. This is like classic Trek. It's instant classic.
Yep.
I love the courtroom scene, but like you just said, the part where you were talking to La'an about her self-hate, because she is really living in her self-hate. When that's what I love about Star Trek and what they do with women. There's that woman that will always come and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Let me be your mentor. Let me tell you how it's going to be. Let me pull you up. Let's do this together. And in that moment, I think he became one of my favorite characters, because the women empowering women is so strong. It does the thing that it does to you is make you stand so much taller. And it doesn't have to be you talking to me. I can watch it and still feel empowered. And that's what happened. Watching you empower those two characters empowering each other on a big screen. I was with my two younger daughters, and we were all kind of like, feeling kind of good here, you know. But it was very impactful, and I love the courtroom scene. I love that, but that part just stood out to me as such an empowerment. And you were talking about Bilquis, and I haven't seen it, but I have heard so many descriptions of this character, and I'm like, I got to watch this, you know. So I just wanted you to know that you made this impact with this one character in this one episode, because I saw it live on a big screen, and it was absolutely amazing. I just wanted you to understand the power you put on these women in this audience.
Oh, they're going to make me cry today.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
What were we saying before we started this session, huh? What did we tell you? It was when you know you have just seen an episode that will go down as one of the franchise favorites. And you do it.
Yes.
15 minutes in. I said, listen, when you pulled out the book and you act literally threw the book at them, I said, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, people were, no shade to episode 1. But everyone in there will go, wait, what happened in episode 1? Because we saw 2. I'm like, wait, I need to watch episode 1 again. So
1 again, right?
Right.
No. I mean, I love this series. I love this. I mean, everyone from Celia Anson is also a Trekkie, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we know.
You know, you have Melissa, Jess, Babs, you know, just... Everyone is so, so wonderful. And it was an incredible thing to be able to do, to spend time, you know, how many episodes does one character get to interact with so many members of the
Right, true.
Yeah.
But first, I want to say thank you to you all. No, I'm going to try not to cry.
Okay.
But this is purpose. This is why I want to do this. This is why I want to work in the field that I do. To hear something like that, and to hear, you know, from the community of fellow geeks and fellow, you know, that means the most to me. Beyond anything else. So
you're welcome
for sharing that.
You're
welcome.
You're welcome.
You're trying to make me cry too.
We all gonna be in here crying.
It was goosebumps, you know. You were just like, oh my God, she's telling this whole story, the Federation, the subtext was amazing. Even
wasn't it?
The tribute to past Star Trek episodes.
You know, the past episode, you know what I kept thinking the whole time? Nella Larson and Passing.
I know when I heard passing, I was like, oh, they're going all the way.
Wow, you're right.
Yes. You know, and it's interesting because there's so many. There's also hints of because when you go back to court martials, there's court martial,
right? Court martial, right? Yeah.
You were the new Cogley, let me tell you.
Exactly.
There's also when that immediately came up, the measure of man,
drumhead. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, where Data had to fight for his own existence, for his own.
That's right.
Yeah. But also drumhead when Picard,
the witch hunt.
Yeah, that witch hunt that was going on, the conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, you brought it all. I mean, you had your little Picard going on.
Yep.
I love that people caught that.
Everybody.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely.
It definitely stole liberally from Picard.
Oh yeah. You were telling the Federation they got to do better. And and that's what he did in Measure of Man and in Drumhead. You just got to do better.
You got to do better.
And it was so believable that you and number one were friends and had grew up together, and she just left, and but when it ended up and you all grab hands, and I'm like, oh, I really believe they were really good friends. Then she came back and she helped her friend out, and she was so grateful, and it's like, I was here. I was looking.
That speaks to Rebecca as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
No, okay. It's
great
okay.
performances.
Great performances from all of you guys in that episode. But you stood. I mean, it's like when they say, when you were on the screen, for me, when you were on the screen, my eyes were riveted to you. Mm-hmm. That was my take on it. I don't know about anybody else's, but I couldn't take my eyes off of you. And you just like, okay. And you was cool, calm, and you was like, okay, I got this.
That's because she walked in there. She walked in there like Annalise Keating.
Yeah, right? I got that right in my notes. Here we go.
That's why.
It was like a Olivia Pope, Annalise. I mean, come on. Get out the way. I loved it.
There you go.
You're literally going through my checklist of people. It was like, I'm like, oh, that's an influence. All of them. Thank you. Yeah.
We saw it all.
We saw it.
It was so
I just want to say,
all looking at it at the same time. Because we were looking at it at different times.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't even see it together. Yeah.
No.
Certainly didn't see it live. I was sitting here all by myself with my little computer crying.
Me too. I had it on my TV. I got it on my TV.
Like, oh my God, this is so great. But as I've always said, Vulcans, can't trust them, can't kill them.
I mean, you can. Thank goodness for Spock.
I'm trying to tell y'all.
The logic thing. And I've loved that. I mean, the writing is so good.
Yeah,
I mean, from the minute I read that.
Congrats, Dana Horgan.
Yeah, Dana Morgan. Dana Horgan did a great job.
He did a great
job. The lines. There were going to be so many quotes.
Right.
You discovered empathy?
I'm just saying, we should probably let our guests probably speak a little bit.
Oh, okay.
just a thought.
Too much fun with this. So please,
right.
I know, right?
So this is and it's fun to be able to actually talk about it with people after so long.
Right.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
So please bring all of it. But yeah, Dana Horgan, she just did such a wonderful job. Like you're saying, all those, congratulations, you discovered empathy. I mean, come on.
Wow.
Brilliant. Right. You're feeling all warm inside when you get to say, stuff like that. Also, speaking to about our director, Valerie Weiss, and you were talking about the relationship between, Una and Neera. She was very intentional. Valerie Weiss was very intentional in making sure we got time to meet before we shot dinner, talking about our love of Trek, then really going into the relationship where we made, a lot of decisions together of, okay, this was when this happened. This is how this happened. Oh, she's discovering for the first time that this happened, that all I think comes across. So I really need to thank all these incredible individuals as well.
Nice.
Wow. It came across. It came across.
Definitely. Yeah.
It really
It's just
did.
what a I thought to myself how amazing, how grateful I was that you were the actress who had that role. Because I mean, man, you just hit it. Everything that everybody said is so true. You were riveted to you in this episode. And when the whole crew, when you're up on the transporter platform and you're about to beam out for the last time and the crew starts applauding, I was right there with them. I was like, yes, yes, girl, you did it. You deserve that. I mean, oh man, you brought so much joy to us in this role.
Thank
Definitely.
you. Thank you. And I'm going to have to take that moment again and bolster up some incredible individuals that made that happen.
Yeah.
As well, that helped make that happen. I mean, because even costuming, from the moments she said, I'm going to put you in these things. This is what, she said, every time Neera comes out, she's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, she was, the shoulder pads were on point.
Those pads, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, y'all. Okay.
And it was very intentional. Even the lines, the lines of the costume.
Yeah.
It was supposed to show that she starkly is not Starfleet.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
The earrings that were almost, bullet-like, it was all to say she is not Starfleet. She's entering into this space that potentially is somewhat hostile.
Right.
But she's going to come into that space empowered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come into that space saying, this is who I am, and you're going to hear me.
Yes. Yes.
And they did that also with costume. That was Bernadette Croft. I keep saying they need to put her stuff on Vogue.
It does.
Yes, they do. Yes, she was slamming everybody.
They were like, what is this couture going on over here?
I was like, where can I buy this?
And makeup, that was Scotia Boyd, where, there were elements that she put in there. It's all very subtle. There are elements that kind of reflect and glitter if you look very closely. But she also did these incredible nails that were...
we saw
the nails? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those nails.
Oh, yes. Everything, as the young folks say, was on fleek. Is that fleek? Was that passe now? Is that passe? That they don't say that anymore, right?
A little bit.
Look, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
Old folks can still say it.
You good.
Okay.
It is a great thing, though, too. And I think we all, a lot of us experience this of, what do you do when you come into spaces that are hostile?
Yeah.
Where everyone is judging every little part of you.
Right.
Everything.
And so
Everything.
this team, including Hair, was Daniel Lasco, made sure that's Neera. She makes sure everything is how she wants it.
Yes.
She can show up as herself in all of these spaces.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We definitely got that. Yeah.
Yeah. I get her. I said, Neera. I said, go ahead, Neera. And he said, she's the best civil rights attorney. I'm like, wait a minute. We have that phrase in Star Trek now?
Right. That kind of, I was like, wait.
I was like, that's civil rights attorney. I like that codified in Star Trek. That is canon. Y'all cannot take that away.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I'm here for it. All right. Okay.
When they mentioned her name in the first episode, I'm like, okay, I wonder who this is. Who are they going to get to play this part? Who is it? Because we kind of knew that you were going to show up because he was going, he went all the way in. And then when they showed you in your office, I said, oh, okay, that's her. Star Trek, you've done it again. That was even before you even opened your mouth.
So they
done it again.
No, that team really, really, and that's one of the things I loved about it when I read the script. It did feel like classic like classic Star Trek.
Yes.
Like the thing that I grew up really looking to, that even helped form my worldview.
Yeah.
You know, and you mentioned it too, of this thing of we can do better. We can do better. And, you know, especially even the title of this, Astra Per Aspera, you know, to the stars through hardship.
Hardship, yeah.
I think it's even more so resonant, at least for me now. We've been through collectively some big things.
Yeah.
We continue to go through
things.
very big things. But it's wonderful to see the idea of a future where possibly we get better, and we continue to work on ourselves to reach for something better. And so there was something very interesting about being able to be a part of this world in that very classic Star Trek sense. Be able to work within this kind of idea. And I mean, it's palpable. And I mean, again, I keep on saying gratitude, but yes, absolute gratitude to be able to, you know, that. And I should talk about casting too, because Marjorie Simpkin and Orly Sidowitz, you know, they were the ones that cast me for Bookless.
Really?
Wow.
They offered me this role.
Wow.
Oh, they offered. Oh.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my goodness.
And
That's right.
they know their business.
They know what they're doing.
They knew what they was getting.
They know their business. I know that our time is running out. You know, we're getting towards the end, but I really didn't want to let you go without asking you about your vampire series that you're working on. That sounds super cool. I mean, like a Nigerian vampire series, and I had all of us going, I want to read that. I want to see that. I can't, anything, any way I want to ingest this. So can you tell us about it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel so lucky with it, because it was actually an idea I had while I was shooting in Greece for Rise, the Adetokounmpo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was good.
And thank you. And there was something, you know, about being in this spaces, and it literally just popped into my head full form. I'm like, yes, of course, Niger, you know. And I was so lucky with it, because I was then talking with Sebastian Jones of Stranger Comics. Yeah. And as soon as he heard it, he said, wow, that would be an amazing graphic novel, because I actually started it as a novel.
Okay.
And he said, that would be incredible. Let's do it. Let's make this into a graphic novel. Now, that was around the same time that he had teamed up with Prentice Penny, showrunner of Insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had their company Payback that was dealing with working with comics and graphic novels, and bringing them also into the television space. So he said, when he heard the idea, he said, you know what, how about I suggest we make this simultaneously as a TV show and a graphic novel? I said, yes, please, and thank you.
Yes. I love that. I cannot wait. You've got to come back when that comes out.
Oh man!
Yeah, because we are
please.
huge. I'm a huge comic book fan. Me and Sabrina, and that would be great. We would love to have you on just to talk about that.
Well, I'd love to be back. You've been seeing me smiling this entire time. I can't stop.
Well, as
cool.
I told another Nigerian Star Trek actor, I did a DNA, and most of my DNA is Nigerian, Ghana, and Sierra Leone. So I'm waiting I want to see the Nigerian vampire too.
It's coming.
I love that. She didn't just claimed you.
I did.
I claim him back.
There you go.
And then you're playing Queen Nzinga coming up soon too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that was another one.
That's out now, right?
No,
not yet.
Okay.
The docu-series is out, and that's by the lovely Jada Pinkett Smith, and they made a docu-series, which is wonderful because people are now educated about who this individual is. But no, we're doing the scripted series with Lionsgate and Stars. this was something that people who have known me for, let's say, a decade or so have been hearing about. Because once I discovered this woman, I said, why do I not see her?
Right.
On the screen?
Right.
She has all the elements. She has everything that we love about Cleopatra, Jeanne d'Arc, Elizabeth. She was all these women.
She was the real woman king.
17th century.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And so I've been talking about her for a long time and saying,
awesome.
why don't we see her on screen? We need her on the screen. I need her on the screen. And it was actually then one of the, was VP who was at that point, VP of development, who at that point, when I first met her, was one of the producers in Stars. She said, yeah, I hear you. And so she introduced me to Moa Budu, who people tend to call the Oprah of Africa. Incredible woman, incredible.
Wow.
Get a chance to have her on. She's what she's doing. Basically, she's saying, yeah, I'm bringing Africa to the world. You know, that's her mission.
Love it.
And then the whole team, Stephen, Curtis, like everyone was, brought together and very much wanting to see this character on the screen. A real warrior queen, and so to be able to get to play her, also be on the other side as executive producer, it's really exciting. And it's what we spoke about in the beginning. It's very much about purpose, about putting stories out there and putting performances out there that go in that general direction of the Star Trek ideal that we love so much. And we can be better. We can do better. We can learn from the giants whose shoulders we stand on. And hopefully become an ancestor to others in the future that would be proud of what we bring forth.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself, my sister. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your generosity. You got us now. We say this to a lot of people. We mean it. Like when you're a SyFy sister now, and we're never letting go. We're building our tribe. And we're never letting go.
Yes, please, and thank you.
That's right. That's it. That is it. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. So, Yvette, you want to tell people how they can reach us if they have thoughts on some of the things that we talked about today?
You can find us at SyFySistas.com. That's SyFySistas.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the SyFy Sistas Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram and TikTok, SyFy.Sistas. And we're also on the Twitter at SyFy Sistas. Become a patron of SyFy Sistas today at patreon.com/SyFy Sistas. The Trek Geeks Network presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fansets.com for pins and memorabilia for all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
Y'all, it's been so much fun. We got one last shout out to do, and that's for the baddest engineer in all universes. He's Dose, the anonymous one. He's responsible for the music that you hear. Dose, 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 Dose. He has his own theme song. He's our engineer, the bestest. If you need his skills, you can look him up on Instagram at Dose_the_anonymous_1. And y'all, that's it for us. We are out of here. Thank you for listening. We love you very much. Peace, love, and hair grease.